How you guys doing? Today I'm going to be covering a topic that's not widely covered in the Taekwondo community, and that's going to be how to analyze your opponent so you can put yourself at the highest chance to win. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be analyzing an opponent as if I were going to fight them, and then you guys could see in depth of how I go in and I break this down. So our fighter in red over here is Dubi, and I'm going to be treating it like I have a fight against him this upcoming Saturday, or better yet, if I have a month out, I can start my studying even earlier. So if I'm analyzing a fighter, the first thing I want to put into account is how am I compared to them? Am I shorter than them? Am I taller than them? What is my style like? Do I fight in the right stance or the left stance? And from there, I want to find a video that's similar, or the person that's fighting them is similar to me. So if I could get all of those factors together, they're my same height, they're my same style, they're my same stance, that's perfect. But if I can't, I find the next best option that has the most same factors as me. So again, let's say that I'm the fighter, I'm shorter, I like to fight in the right stance, and I like to kick on the inside. Then I'm going to find a video like this where the fighter that's fighting the fighter that I'm going to be going up against is shorter than them. They're in that same stance and they're trying to fight on the inside. So let's get into the breakdown. And first thing to look for when you're analyzing an opponent is what kind of fighter are they? Are they tall? Are they short? Do they fight with the right leg, their left leg? Do they fight modern style, old school? What do they depend on, right? So I'm going to be looking at that first. Right off the bat, I can see our fighter in red, Dubi, is in his right stance. He has his body back. Stance is very short as well. So I know he's trying to stab out that front leg, especially with his length. I saw from the first kick that he tried to get that cut out first. He brings up his cancel. And then I see he's playing this flick, whether it's appa or it's twist or it's that front leg cut, he's trying to bring it out. So I could see that he's a predominantly a front leg fighter. I see that our fighter in blue is doing a good job at canceling him when he brings that leg in. So I could see that, yes, he's flexible and he's hitting him at different angles. But if I could bring that cancel up just like the fighter in blue can, then I know that I could put up a little bit of defense. Nice front hand punch from our fighter in blue. Okay, so I know what kind of fighter I'm up against. Next that I'm going to go into is what I call the when, how, and what. So when is he throwing these kicks? And I see from earlier that he's trying to throw them from a long distance. He's trying to throw his kicks out first. He's trying to get his foot on the chest guard. Okay, now from there, oh, he just scored that front leg again. You know, he was manipulating it with his flexibility. He saw the opening in the cover, right? So from there, after I have the when, now I want to see the how. How is he setting up his scoring points? And there we go. We just got a scoring point. So let's go back to that. So he started off with a cut from a long distance. He kicked first again. After he kicked the body, he acted like he was trying to bring it up to the head. He saw that cover move up, and then he smacked it down with that flip. So I see that how is he scoring his kicks? He's setting them up by cutting first from the long distance, and then after he cuts first, he tries to change up the angle. Whether it's body face, face to the body, he's trying to use that kick to hit the open part in this fighter's guard, right? Okay, so I have the person or the type of person that I'm fighting. I have the when, how, and what. Now what's important to me is me. This is where I plug myself into the equation. So if you look at it as like a problem, let's say that it's a plumbing problem. I have a clogged pipe or I have a leak or whatever it may be. First, what do I have to do? I have to come in and I have to assess that problem. Where is this leak coming from? Where is the shaky bolt at? So I know what I'm dealing with. After that, I look at my toolbox. I have to say what tools that I have that I can use to fix this problem. So, okay, I have a screwdriver. Maybe that's my back leg. I have a hammer. Maybe that's my front leg cut. I have a wrench. Maybe that's my punch, right? So I see from these items, right? Maybe not all of my tools can fit, but I can fit maybe the wrench. Okay, so then I know that I could put my punch into the equation. Maybe I don't have tape, but I have some putty. So instead of having the perfect cancel hold into flick afterwards, maybe I can cancel, put it down, and then up by after. So I make do with what tools I have. So I want to be looking, after I have that equation, right? I want to be looking in this fight. When is this person scoring and how did they set it up? We already have that. Now I want to look, when are they getting scored on? When is this person put at a disadvantage disadvantageous position, and when do I feel like this person is kind of uncomfortable and not in their best zone, they're not in their best distance, they're able to get scored on. So then I'm going to analyze when our fighter in blue is scoring. So let's go through. I see that he scored that front hand punch earlier, and he just threw a front hand punch as well in the closed stance. So I saw on both of them, he used his front leg, a knee shield to kind of hook that leg, get it out the way, and then as he's dropping into the clinch, he uses that front hand punch. So what do I do in this situation? I look at my toolbox, I say, oh, do I have that same front hand punch in my toolbox? If I do, I'm gonna implement it. If I don't, okay, it's okay, I'm gonna work around that. All right, let me look at what else he's scoring on. I see Jandubi, he tries that same kind of flop to the body. Okay, they both score on the inside. And it looks like on the inside, okay, over here, our fighter in blue, maybe not at the start of the round, but towards the end of the round where both fighters are getting gassed, our fighter in blue has a better gas tank, and he's really working on the inside, and it looks like it's making Jandubi out of his comfort zone. He's kind of bringing his leg up as like a leg block. He's trying to hop around, shut it down, right? So I know off the bat that this fighter is not comfortable on the inside. Okay. All right. I see he's not comfortable. He's trying to like take steps out. He's trying to shut it down. All right. We're at 7-4. Pull out. That was a good job with Jandubi acting like he's pulling out, but coming back in and stuffing the kick. All right, and now he's playing that defensive game. He's going to cut. He's going to pull out, cancel. And he almost loses the match from that. So over here, what do I have to take from it? Okay, I can see that he's at the end. He spins away from the back kick, but then he didn't see that there was still a second left. He's taking a step out, but our fighter in blue is still ready, and he threw that kick. So what can I take from this, right? Maybe it's not going to be the same situation that comes out in our fight, in my fight with this person, right? But I do know that if this person is evading a certain kick, like a spinning kick, or they're trying to spin out, that there's a split second where, as a habit, they're not ready. If they take that spin, maybe they're used to in practice, whatever it may be. In practice, they take the spin and then they reset, they can walk back, whatever it may be. They have the habit of not being ready after they evade, right? Not every fighter is going to have the same habit. This is going to be just one specific habit. But if I can scout it out, then if it happens in the fight, I'm ready to throw a second, third shot and hopefully steal a point for myself. Now, let's bring it into another example. Let's say that this fighter, before they kick, they take a step. Then I know that every time they take that step, they're going to kick. So I could either have my defense ready, I could have a counter ready, I could kick as they're taking that step, right? This is all giving me information and ideas of when I can put my kicks in the correct position, put the tools that I have in my bag into the problem, and give me the best chance of that solving the problem, all right? So let's get back to the match. Right now it's 7-7, but Jandubi is up, and I see he throws that cut, and our fighter in blue loses that first round. Okay, so we lost by a tie in the first round. Let's see if there's anything that changes in the second round. That's what I'm looking for right now. Is there any adjustment? You know, does the fighter in red change his game plan? Does his opponent change his game plan? Comes in again with that front hand punch, scores it. Okay, so I've seen 2 front hand punches score, and 3 of them were on good timing. All right, so I definitely know that that's going to be one of my keys that I want to plug into this equation. Again, we have that front hand punch. Almost scored. Again, we have that front hand punch. All right, so this match is really, if I was fighting Jandubi, this match would be really, really good for me in my position. Now he uses a backhand punch. I could see that the punch timing is there, okay? Especially if I'm coming in first and he's canceling, all right? So maybe, like I said earlier, right? Sometimes we have to make do with tools that we don't have, that we have in our bag, but it's not the exact tool. Maybe I have a wrench, but I need a socket wrench. Maybe I have a monkey iron, but I need a specific type of iron, right? But I don't have it. I have to know how do I plug this into the equation, right? So let's say I only have a right hand punch and I only like to fight in the right stance. Okay, maybe I throw the backhand punch in the closed stance to the side, see if that scores. Maybe I get to the inside, right? And I see that he's not ready, so that's why he's getting scored on with that punch every time. But let's say I don't have that front hand punch in my arsenal. Maybe I just use the front leg hook to get to the inside where he's uncomfortable, and then I switch feet and I try to hit that inside kick, okay? So this is also, I'm trying to show you guys how I can make do with tools that may not be the perfect fit for the problem. And every problem is different. Maybe I'm fighting a better fighter. Okay, all right. I just saw a scoring point from our opponent. We got 2 kicks over here. What does he do? How is he setting this up? He's coming in. Boom, that's a perfect example. He's coming in with that front leg axe kick to get over to the shoulder. But if it scores, it scores. If it doesn't, it puts him in a great place because he's in that close clinch where Jandubi is not as comfortable. And then what did I talk about earlier? Maybe if you don't have that front hand punch, maybe you alternate with a backhand punch or you result to the kicking. What is he doing here? He gets the front leg over the shoulder, doesn't score it, lands into the close distance clinch, and then from there, he's throwing multiple shots and the second one scores. So he's doing actually a great job right now of utilizing the distance and playing to his strengths. So that's great. Now we had 3-0. Uses that front hand punch again. He's not afraid to use it. That's good. If something is working in the fight, you don't need to change it. You want to keep using that and get as many points out of that situation, out of that timing that you see as possible. And then if they make the adjustment, then you switch it up again. All right. And what I was talking about earlier is every problem is different. Every athlete is different, and every 2 athletes, when they come up against each other, is going to be different. So maybe I have fighter A, fighter B, and fighter A is the better fighter, but for me, fighter B is the harder one to fight because I have the perfect tools to fight against fighter A, but I don't have the perfect tools to fight against fighter B. All right, I take this into assessment. Now I have to understand how can I apply the tools to fighter B, that's the harder fight to me, but still be able to win that fight. So that's what we're really delving into today. All right, so we have 4-0, comes into the clinch again with that punch. We have 5-0. We see a lot of clinch work. Okay, our fighter in blue, he's kind of cracked the code mid-match, if I want to say, right? He's coming to the inside way more. All right, pulling back. Maybe I'd say a little bit early to pull back, but he does score that cut kick. All right. And then he keeps fighting until the last second, 9-0. All right, so we went from 7-7 to 9-0, all because of an adjustment. All right. Baejunseo, the fighter in blue, I feel like he saw that he was having success getting into the inside, and then he made that split-second adjustment into the second round. Let me get to the inside more, make it a lot harder for this opponent, and it's working. So he almost did all the analyzing that we're doing right now, mid-match, which is a totally different story, right? But it's kind of like a compressed version. So I feel like this fight is great to show you guys how to analyze, not only sitting at home before you get into this fight, but during mid-fight as well. All right, so let's get into this third round. Again, like we talked about earlier, he's right away trying to get into that clinch, but he's not running into the clinch. He has his front leg up to shield himself from any kicks that may come. Right? He's not where he wants to be right now. Let's see if he can get out. Yes. As soon as he has the chance to get to the clinch and spin out, he spins out. And we could see that Jandubi, once we see that Jandubi has the other person in the corner, he's throwing more of a volume of kicks. He's throwing those cuts out back to back to back to back to back. And I didn't like where our fighter in blue was. Even though he didn't get scored on, there was a high chance that he was going to get scored on. So again, what does that tell me? It tells me when I'm in the fight against Jandubi, I got to be getting to the clinch first. I got to be applying the pressure, and I can't let myself get to the corner where I'm going to be leaning back because I don't want to take the kamp jump. And then he has that flexibility that's playing to his strength. He's going to bring it up to the face. I want to block it. He brings it to the body. I don't want to be in that situation. I want to make the majority of this fight play to Jandubi's weaknesses, and if his strength is keeping it long, pressuring, and then manipulating the cover, then I want to take all of those situations out. And how do I take those situations out? I make sure that I don't find myself into the corner. I make sure that I don't invite pressure and I don't move back, and I make sure that I'm getting to the clinch first. All right? So let's get back to this fight. Okay. So I'm skipping forward, but every time I skip forward, I see Pedro getting into the clinch. So he's doing a great job. Knee shield, pushing in the clinch, all right? He has a good frame. All right, Jandubi has that left leg crescent. It didn't score, but it was close. So I know, again, if I'm fighting him, I have to have that right hand ready to block it, or I have to be able to be ready to spin out. Okay. Getting to the clinch, we see some holding from Jandubi. Hits that under, so it's 2-2 right now. We got a little bit of a foot clash, all right? He hits that headshot, and then Pedro hits the headshot of his own. Let's go back because this is a scoring point, so I need to rewatch it if I'm analyzing. All right, so what is happening in this situation? It's coming off of a kalya, so it's coming off of a break. Both fighters are going to be more susceptible to not being ready for a split second. So Jandubi takes advantage of that situation and is already in the perfect distance where he's at a long distance. He has his body back and he extends forward for that headshot. Pedro is a little bit late with the cancel and he gets caught. So again, I'm reading from this that if Jandubi is in that position where it's a close match, right? It's 2-2 right now, and he sees that I'm not ready and it's a long distance and I don't have my cancel ready, then I'm at a high probability to get caught. So what am I going to do when I'm fighting him? I'm going to make sure that I'm ready every single time. I have my defense blocked down every single time, all right? Because I don't want to get caught like our fighter in blue over here. Right, so it's 5-5. Just about a minute left. We're going to watch this again. Pedro, he takes that step in with the front leg, tries to hit the front leg under. Jandubi brings that left leg up over the shoulder. All right, we'll see if it scores. Does not go through. Or let's see. I believe it does hit. Might be a scrape over there. We'll see if he gets it. He does not get it, all right? But I do have to make sure that if it's a close game and I have to go under, I don't want to be going under taller fighters like this a lot unless I feel like it's perfect timing for me as the shorter fighter, because if I'm going under, they're coming over, they have all these options, right? But if I do have to score an under kick, I have to make sure that as I'm coming into the close stance, that left leg it has a possibility to come up. I have to have that cover ready. All right, Pedro, he's very explosive and twitchy, so he's able to go from a long distance and knee shield in and be fast enough to get to the close distance. But if I'm going to be fighting him, the same person, I have to make sure, am I as fast as Pedro? Is my front leg knee cancel, knee shield as dialed in as him? His is very dialed in. He uses it every fight, so I could see that he could do it from a longer distance at that fast timing. But for me, I have to ask myself that question. Do I have that same skill? If I do, I do it. If I don't, I have to work around it. Over here, we see a perfect front hand block. We were talking about earlier, right? With that front leg. Pedro, he knows it's coming. He uses that block that we talked about. This was great. Okay. Pedro doing a good job with keeping the pressure and kicking first, especially as the shorter fighter. See, it looks like he scores another front hand punch over here. Goes in. Use that front leg again after getting into the close distance, all right? So the first one that we talked about earlier in that second round, he brings his axe kick up to get to the close distance, and then he throws a few shots afterwards, scores it. Okay, again, over here, it's not an axe kick, but he uses that front leg to get to the close distance, and he scores it right there. So I know after the first kick that if I bring multiple kicks up, whether it's Jandubi's guard or him not being ready, or just it being the fact that I'm in the close distance at a more advantageous place to me, I have a higher probability score. I want to implement that. So we at 9-5 now. Jandubi scores a tight twist on the inside, all right? So I know if I'm coming in with that knee shield, I got to be careful of him bringing that twist in after. 15 seconds left, all right? Good work out of the corner. I feel like he does that one last clinch to shut down, and then from here it's going to be a pullback game. Oh, he does another cut. Okay, catches him. And that was a perfect ending by our fighter in blue, Pejunso, to close out this match, all right? So as the shorter fighter, you don't want to start moving back until you have to if you're winning, right? You don't want to, with 20 seconds, 30 seconds on the clock, you don't want to start moving back because you're putting yourself at a bad position. But if you have maybe 10 seconds left, you can start that retreat back, and you want to be looking to catch them on the way in. So he catches him on the way in over here. He brings that front leg up for a cut. He sees that he's going to throw that spin, gets out the way, throws another cut, side step, right? And then this last thing, I love it. Side step, and then he acts like he's coming in, and that's just enough to get the spin out by mistake by Jindubi, and that's wastes another 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and then we close out the match from here. And what? There's 1 second left. He's going to eat the kamcham. It's going to be 11-8. And then from there, he pulls out and then game over. All right. So this is very good for me, right? When I'm scouting out opponents, I have a perfect recipe or game plan of how to beat him because the fighter in blue won. But if this fighter in blue lost, then I also have a recipe of what not to do if I'm fighting this fighter. All right. So let's say I have all of this information. What do I do with it now? I have to make sure that I write it down in my notes, whether it's handwritten or if it's in my phone. I like to keep it in my phone so I can go to those exact notes on fight day when the adrenaline is rolling and I'm a little bit nervous or I'm excited, right? Maybe I can't think of something that someone just told me, right? So I got to make sure that I have my game plan for each specific fighter in my phone. I have their strengths, I have their habits, I have their weaknesses, and then I have when they set it up. So all the information we talked about earlier, then I have what my game plan is of how I'm going to plug in my strengths, the tools that I have in my toolbox into the equation. So then from there, I know what to look out for. I know what to apply in the match. So then I have almost like a complete game plan, a little mini walkthrough right before I step onto the mat. So I feel that much more fresh. I feel that much more sharp before going into this fight. And I feel like if you're at home, right, as a Taekwondo athlete, you need to be doing this for every fighter that you can find footage of, so you have that extra little advantage before you step into the ring. And if you're not doing it, then your coach needs to be doing it for you as well, all right? So make sure that you start implementing this when you go into your analyzation. You don't want to be just thinking about me, what are my kicks? And then you don't want to be just thinking about, oh, this fighter is good, they won this. What kicks are they good at? Now you're just focused on how do I not get hit. You want to turn this into a flat equation, no emotion, whether it's the world champion, Olympic champion, or it's just a local, you treat it the same. It's all it is a problem, and you have to learn how to figure out that problem and make it so you can fix that problem. And that's exactly what we did today. We problem fix when we analyze fights, all right? So I hope you guys were able to learn some information from today. And if you have any other questions, drop it in the comments. But if not, I'll see you guys next time around.